Excellency Kunsondri, members of the India-Cambodia Parliamentary Friendship Association, Excellency Deetstina, my Honorable Chief Guest is Excellency Kim Chanta, representative of the Royal Government of Cambodia, Your Royal Highnesses, Senior Ministers, dear colleague ambassadors, members of the Diplomatic Corps, distinguished guests, my friends, a very warm welcome to you. Namaskar, Chumrip Sur, good evening. Today, I'm indeed delighted to be here today with all of you for another celebration of the 70th anniversary of the establishment of the diplomatic relations between India and Cambodia. I deem it a personal privilege to have been part of the creation of this photo exhibition showcasing 70 years of our political and our cultural history between the two countries. India and Cambodia are located in each other's extended neighborhood and share a unique civilizational heritage in terms of religious, linguistic and cultural ties. Our formal relations may be only 70 years old, but our historical ties are the very foundation on which our strong bilateral relationship rests. It is this foundation and the historical circumstances that we shared with Cambodia that led India to recognize Cambodia as a free nation 1 year before it became independent in 1952. It was also this common lived experience of anti-colonial struggle that brought our leaders, our first Prime Minister, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, and His Majesty King Noro very close to each other on ideological grounds that formed a basis of a very everlasting friendship that you will witness here in the photographs that we have been able to collect from the archives of both countries. They both enjoyed a very cordial and warm relationship, as you'll see through the photographs. In fact, His Majesty King Norodom Sihanouk considered Pandit Nehru, in his own words, as my greatest friend and his political teacher, and called India and Cambodia as cousins. From 1954 to 64, Prime Minister Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru and Prince Norodom met on various occasions that you see through the photographs, and both His Majesty and the Queen Mother, Her Majesty Moniniyat Norodom, visited India several times. In fact, there is a very nice story that I recall about Pandit Nehru when he visited Cambodia the first time in 1954. It's as the story goes, when a message arrived in Cambodia and was received by the Cambodian government from Delhi, requesting an overflight clearance for the aircraft carrying Prime Minister of India on his way to Vietnam, His Majesty King Norodom sent back a message stating that he will not give the air clearance till Prime Minister Nehru decides to even visit Cambodia in addition to Vietnam. And of course, Pandit Nehru immediately replied that he would be delighted to do so. In fact, King Father's commitment to the Northern Line movement had roots in his friendship with our first Prime Minister, Pandit Nehru. At a banquet in New Delhi held in his honor in 1963, His Majesty said, and I quote, "It was by studying his methods, Nehru's methods and teachings, and by following his sage counsels that I was able to decide upon a course of action that assured our independence and national unity, together with peaceful internal conditions and respect for our sovereignty." While dedicating a boulevard to Prime Minister Nehru in 1965, posthumously in his honor, His Majesty said, "The first navigators, Indian merchants and Brahmins, brought to us our ancestors, their gods, their techniques, their organization. Briefly, India was for us what Greece was for the Latin Occident." This cordial relation between our founding fathers of our nations, based on ideological solidarity, forms the bedrock of the India-Cambodia contemporary and modern historical relationship, some of which is captured visually in these photographs. India's role, guided by its ideals of peace and reconciliation, also continued through the times of Khmer Rouge, when we closed down our embassy and we were the first country to support the new government after the fall of the Khmer Rouge regime. India's role and in peace and reconciliation continued with intense interaction with Cambodian leaders at high levels towards the finalization of the Paris Peace Agreements in 1991, to which India was a signatory as well. In fact, Prime Minister Samdai Hun Sen has himself told me how India's suggestions and facilitations was the turning point in the reconciliation process with Prince Sihanouk and the signing of the Paris Peace Agreements. It laid a groundwork to bring the concerned Cambodian actors together in a spirit of eschewing violence and arriving at a consensus for peace. During the late 1990s and onwards to the present now, the relationship between Cambodia and India, the world's largest democracy, further strengthened, moving towards an extraordinary development path. Both countries can do much more in multifaceted areas of cooperation, especially in promoting the 3 C's: commerce, culture, and connectivity, adding to its security, both in traditional and non-traditional sense. History has witnessed that Cambodia can count on India's support in its endeavors, and we stand committed to extend our full support to Cambodia in its continuous march towards peace, progress, development, and prosperity. Ladies and gentlemen, Cambodia has been at the crossroads of history on many occasions. The coming time is no different, with geopolitical uncertainties, challenges to the rule-based order and multilateralism. The choices that both countries will make together will have a profound consequence for Cambodia as well as to the wider world. In today's uncertain world, to create a multipolar world, independent-minded countries like India and Cambodia can contribute towards reform multilateralism and give voice to the global South. In line with India's motto for our G20 presidency, which says Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, which means the world is one family, we can both narrow the trust deficit between countries rather than take sides for the benefit of all mankind. Additionally, I would also like to make a mention of India's celebration of the International Years of Millet 2023. Millets were among the first crops to be domesticated in India, being grown in more than 130 countries at present. Millet are considered as traditional food for more than 500 million people across Asia and Africa.